Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing today? I hope that your day is getting off to a great start, and we got a lot to talk about today, so thanks for joining. Just a quick introduction. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be looking at Capricorn for the month of May, but this forecast actually goes about 6 to 8 weeks out. So depending on where you're at in your life, things may actually resonate a little bit more as you get closer to May. So feel free to watch this now, and if you want to watch it again later, you'll probably pick up on some additional insights. The channeled messages at the beginning usually have to do with the here and the now, and then the rest of the cards start to factor in as the month proceeds. I get questions sometimes, whether you watch this on replay or you watch it live, the messages here are still for you, including the channeled messages. That's just kind of how I work, so I wanted to answer that question. Let me talk a little bit about the structure, and then we'll get into the reading. So I begin with all the channeled messages that I received from my guides and yours. I actually got a guide that I didn't recognize this morning. So some of those are your guides that come through. And I also do dream interpretation, automatic writing, and just meditation. So I get up a couple hours early and get all of these cards on the table organized, which I'll show you in just a second. That portion is whatever it needs to be. The same is true of the center when I look at the Celtic Cross. So that's part 2. I don't focus just on love because sometimes that's not the central focus. You may or may not have a partner, and that partnership may or may not be the central theme in your life right now. I feel like the more work we do on ourselves, the better. But what I do is I take a look at an expanded forecast after that, health, wealth, love, and destiny. And there will be a portion there where we focus on the people around us. So don't worry about that if you are curious about love. And if it comes through, I will mention it. And then after we take a look at the Celtic Cross, I go into the soul path. The soul path is a chance for us to drill a little bit deeper in any areas of opportunity or challenge, sometimes a little bit of both. We'll meditate after that, and then I do a final card at the end where I answer your question. And it's not something that you have to type out. Basically, you meditate, I connect with the energy, pull a card, and I'll look at it as a yes, no, and I'll also look at it as a more sort of comprehensive answer. So that is how I organize my monthly readings, and you're in for a great experience, whether this is your first time or you're someone that's returning. Welcome to the new channel members. I see we have a couple of new ones. If you ever want to become a member, it's really easy. You just click the join button at the bottom. People ask, what does that give you? Special emojis, your name gets highlighted, and also just like my Patreon members, you get access to Q&As when I decide to do a question and answer session here, or when I sort of take sort of like your input and decide what to do with the video. So it's a little bit of an easier way to interact with me. And when it comes to questions, that's usually the main way that they come to me. So either Patreon or YouTube membership works the same. You get a few more perks with YouTube membership. That's the only difference. Before we get started, just a couple of quick notes, and then we're going to get into the messages. First and foremost, I don't answer questions. Like I said, I have a special way of dealing with that at the end where you kind of send me the question and I will read it. But if you want to show support, the way that you can do that is by becoming a member. You can also do a super chat or super sticker. You just click on this little $sign right by the smiley emoji, and you can show some support. It helps me continue to buy and keep my supplies up to date. So thank you so much in advance. If you're watching this on replay later, there's an applaud button, which is between the share and the like icons. So no matter how you want to give back, if you want to, thank you. Otherwise, just hit that like and subscribe button. You only have to do the like button once on a video, and subscribe you only want to hit once in your whole lifetime. But if you haven't already subscribed, think about doing that. And yesterday I had an interruption on the live feed. So that's when the subscribing, especially the notification bell here, comes in handy, because the minute I posted the second video and we continued it, you would have been notified. That's why it's good to do it. And also for those of you that are brand new, if you've never found me before, who knows how the algorithm works, stick around and click that button. Engagement helps other people discover it as well. So with that being said, let's talk about your messages for the month of May. And again, it's a 6 to 8 week forecast. So it's going to span from when I broadcast this, which is April 19th, all the way through the end of May. All right, let's go ahead and start with your spirit totem. I always like to begin with something connected to nature. And the nature totem or spirit totem is an additional way to give some insights. And it comes to me in dreams, usually, sometimes as I'm walking the dog. But last night, the last thing that I saw, like it or not, was a spider. And I went for the less kind of scary spiders because there actually are some cute ones. If you look at the dancing ones or the jumping spiders, there's some really cute spiders out there. The one that I have here on this side, I'm not sure if it's my right or your right, is this little dancing spider, peacock spider, actually. I remember seeing something on BBC with this guy. Basically, there's part of this mating ritual where they, just like a peacock, they kind of show their feathers and he does this little dance. So just know that not all spiders are scary. There's actually some cute ones out there. And I wanted to represent the spiders well here, lest they come into my dreams again. All right, let's talk about what this totem means for you today. So yeah, we got the spider. For me, it's a really powerful, really positive symbol, actually. I like the spider a lot. It's creation, connectivity, literally it creates webs, right? And attraction. The webs are sticky. They get basically food to come in there. They're very resourceful as well. I didn't write that word, but that's definitely part of this as well. It reminds you that you are the creator of your own destiny. I forget the exact phrase. I didn't have time to look it up, but it reminds me of that line that like Sarah Connor has in the Terminator, where basically you create your own fate, you create your own destiny. And I believe that. I think that we have milestones when we come to this planet, right? But I think that we have a lot of free will and a lot of choice in what we want to do with it, how we want to do it, what the timing will look like. So the spider being able to spin is just a visual representation of how we create something every day. The way that I wrote this was like each thought, each deed is like a section of your cosmic web, if you will. And just like the spider, if you've ever watched it after it finishes a meal, or if the wind has blown it or it's rained and some part of the web is not what it needs to be, it goes there and it clips it out and it spins a new section. So we can always create, destroy, rebuild, reimagine our cosmic web. And the spider was reminding you of that this morning. I also saw the spider getting a meal. That's what woke me up. I was like, I don't need to see this. But that's actually also very positive because it shows sustenance, opportunity, abundance coming in. He was a happy spider, or she was a happy spider. It's never too late to start over or rebuild. It just takes some time and practice. Spiders, just like the harpy eagle, which I was talking about yesterday, they're very patient creatures. It will just sit there and wait and watch and has all those eyes looking in all the directions. But it's mostly the feeling that spiders are known for. Just that's why we have Spider-Man, right? Spidey sense. So just like a spider can sense both danger and opportunity, you also are being more attuned to those frequencies. And that's really what it is. It's a vibration or a frequency that the spider feels. I want you to trust it when you feel that energy come through, especially when you're making a decision. The frequency will always reveal itself to you. And this has happened time and again for me when sometimes it's happened where it's like a job. And there's been a couple of instances where, twice it happened to me actually, where one time I walked into a place and thought, I shouldn't take the job. And if I do, it'll be like 6 months. I lasted 8 months, but it was a bad decision and I knew it. And then there was another time where I really needed the job, but I knew the people were going to be rough to kind of work with. And it was much worse than I ever anticipated. And so I remember sitting in an interview room thinking, why are they so angry? They were smiling, but I could feel the anger. Because it was the situation that was building up there. So never again, I promised myself after those two experiences, if there was something that I didn't feel good about, whether you're walking into a house or an apartment or you're looking at a job or it's your first date with someone and you think, no, this isn't it. Trust that. It is so valuable. You're picking up on the frequency. Your spider web is kind of vibrating and saying, run, this isn't good. Okay? So definitely listen to that. All right, so now for some of the things that you want to be careful of. In different folklore, myths, and religions, there are certain deities sometimes associated with the spider that can be tricky. Iktomi is one of them. There actually used to be a search engine way back at the beginning of the web where it was actually named after that goddess, or god rather, Iktomi. But I looked it up because I thought I remembered reading it. Sometimes Loki, a Norse god, can also be associated with that. Not necessarily its main kind of connection, but Iktomi and Loki were two things that came to mind. Iktomi is a shapeshifter, so people may be trying to show up in a way that is not necessarily authentic. And this is where your intuitive self and higher self is going to come through and say, something doesn't match. What I'm seeing doesn't match what I'm feeling. So listen to that. Also, looking at this on a sort of more bird's eye view, don't get caught up in someone else's web, whether it's drama or sadness or deceit or whatever's going on. You want to kind of keep a little bit of a distance if people are constantly spinning nonsense around themselves. And you know people like that, which seem to kind of have like a dark cloud above their head, right? And there's sometimes they're not ready or willing to see the world in a different way. So they're attracting that. You don't want to get pulled into that web. So just like you can spin a web of positivity and of abundance, some people can spin a web of drama. It's very theatrical. It's very sort of like, look at me, look what's going on. And you don't necessarily need to be attached to that kind of energy. I actually showed you that picture of the peacock spider there, dancing as a part of their ritual to impress their mate. And so this month, when it goes into making a first impression, doing a sort of play on words here, I want you to pull out your bag of tricks, if you will, in a positive way. Put out everything that you can to make a really good first impression, because you only get one chance at doing that. And even if you're at an existing, let's say this is job related, even if you have a good reputation there, this is a chance to make a splash. It feels like you could really do something special. So I want you to go all out. This is the time to basically, dress your best, speak with, confidence, and really put yourself out there. Okay. Same thing in a relationship. And because it's a mating, when I was looking at spiders, I thought, yeah, let's go for that peacock one. That's the one that came to mind. So it does feel like some of you might have an opportunity to get someone's attention. So whether it's work or romance, you want to put your best foot forward, right? Okay, I'm laughing at the emojis in the chat right now with all the spiders. Okay, you have a magnetic quality to yourself. I talk about this with certain cards. Typically, I go to cups for that, like the Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. Four of Wands is magnetic. The Lover's card is magnetic. The Six of Cups is magnetic. The Star card is definitely magnetic. So there are some where you just pull people in through your energy. So it doesn't matter which card. We'll look at it this month, in this particular spread. But I have a feeling that there's going to be an indicator on where that magnetism needs to be focused, or where you might not be taking advantage of it. So don't underestimate it. Start something new this month. Because of the sticky quality of the web, it tells me that you can stick with something, see it through to completion or fruition, and you'll be surprised because it feels like you can make a lot of progress this month. Your beliefs, whether they are positive or not so positive, can absolutely affect manifestation. You can manifest drama in your life. So try to go towards the positive. And I was going to pull a card, but I was running out of time here to kind of show it to you. But it may come through when we read. But the Two of Wands is the example that I was going to show, where basically you are keeping an eye on what it is that you want to do. You have two wands around you, and you're constantly focusing on the vision that you have. It's part of the way that you can get towards your manifestation. So just like the High Priestess has her crystal ball, the Two of Wands uses the world or the crystal ball to continue to gaze, kind of looking here and looking here, kind of making sure that everything is tracking towards that vision. If you lose track of what you're trying to do, then you're off course. So don't lose track, basically. Okay, stay on course, stay positive, and try to manifest positive things this month, especially. All right. Those are the messages for our lovely spider that came through. Again, the spider was enjoying a meal. And I also take that as a positive sign. It's telling me that more abundance, more opportunities coming your way. Okay, let's take a look at the remaining symbols. I had some really powerful dream messages that also presented themselves today. I had an ancestral guide that came through, and a guide that I didn't recognize, which I think is attached to some of you out there. So the first thing that it showed me was a 1-year cycle that you're starting. So we're watching this in April for those of you that are tuning in live, and it was April to April. This is for May. So if you're watching it in May, it's basically from the time you watch the video until next April. And I was walking with this guide through a field of grass. It wasn't just regular grass. It was this very fine, it felt like it was ornamental grass almost, and almost a little bit above my knees. So it felt like spring energy in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. And this guide was spinning around in circles, kind of like a kid would do. If you ever did that when you were a kid, just kind of spinning and spinning, and then stopped, and I could feel the dizziness in the guide. And then she looked at me and basically just psychically said, your head will be spinning. It's going to happen quickly. 1 year, your head will spin and things will start to happen quickly. So what might happen for you is there's this gradual change and shift in your sort of abundance. And then when things happen, they happen fast like that. And it's sort of like you're going to be jarred, or you kind of get the sense of how do I maintain this? So I see really positive changes. There was green moss and green grass, and the grass was above my knees. The guide was loving. The message, though, did have one little wrinkle with it. I felt like there would be something that you would fall away, or you would need to let go of. But then I saw a lot of abundance. So it's a death and rebirth message, but the rebirth was the stronger component of it. Green everywhere, and this feeling of things happening fast. And just like a roller coaster or a car that stops fast, or when you're trying to catch up to something, it just felt like the body was one place and the head was another place, right? So as a part of this, again, a reminder that between now and 2022, and I've seen 2022 repeatedly, for me, 2022 through 2026, it feels like that period of time, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a 4-year period of massive changes and growth. This is the mop up or cleanup year for everybody, 2021. But next year looks really good. And just don't lose track of your goal. I was just showing you that crystal ball. It was actually a selenite sphere, if you're wondering. But don't lose track of where you're headed, and don't lose your focus in general. Work-life balance as well. Balance is another key thing that you want to be focusing on, okay? So that's the message from that guide and my ancestor. It felt very positive, but like I said, there'll be one little moment where I feel like the sacrifice or letting go could also be hard. And sometimes when change happens, that can be part of it. Like you didn't expect, now is the time, like you have to move now, or there's something big, a big shift that's going to happen where you have to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. The ancestor was also showing me an empty photo frame. And first of all, the fact that I'm seeing ancestral spirits come through is a message for you, which is you are being guided by family that has passed, that is in spirit, or ancestors from a previous lifetime that are here to help, possibly even clear some karma between you and between them by helping you out. So if you need some help, lean on spirit and say, ancestors of love, light, and the highest possible good, always want to connect to the divine. You can then ask them for some assistance. You can ask an archangel like Gabriel to help filter some of that through to make sure, again, that the motives are clear and clean. But basically what I saw was that they were honoring you. Let's see, I was shown an empty photo frame and was instructed to fill it up, to hang it up, to put a new picture in it. And to me, that was saying, they see you, they're honoring you, and they also are welcoming you to do the same if you want to. And in one of my Instagram lives, I was asked a question about, like, how do I deal with the loss of someone? And my answer there was to do something to honor them. And that's been popping up a few times. This time, it was showing up in a frame. So for some of you, you may have recently put a new picture in, or found an old photo and you're thinking of putting it up, or you've been looking at a photo. That particular family member is the one that's coming through for you, because I wasn't shown a face. And I was encouraged to make room for them. And they were making room for me, because it was like, I said, you have a bunch of photos on the wall. Why do you want one of me? They said, no, put one up. It's time. Come on. So there's a connection that's coming through for you from spirit. And however you want to work with it, that's great. Even if you choose to do nothing, they're still there helping you. Okay, that's the beauty in this. The final thing, though, when I was holding the frame, then I got an intuitive download, just using my own intuition, saying, remember to make some new memories right now. Frame something up in your life that's worth remembering. I was talking about that. I think I might have even done that in the mid-month collective. It's not all about work. It's not all about achievement. It's not all about love. There should be other things in your life that are bringing in happiness, these moments, these snapshots. We don't do it so much anymore. So think of it as an Instagram moment, if you will, or a Facebook moment. But what's worth framing, what's worth sharing, and not for the sake of projecting that you were happy, but actually feeling that you're happy and doing either a mental kind of like photograph or taking a photograph and looking at it and celebrating that you did that. Celebrating is important. We spent so much time stressing over the past year and a half that I think it's also important to celebrate and really connect with some positive things right now. Okay, so beautiful messages from the spider, from your ancestors today, and hopefully those resonate. If you just joined, don't worry about it. I'm going to review these at the midpoint, and usually I will have additional messages at that point in time. Couple quick notes while I stack up these cards and get ready to pull the Celtic Cross. I just did a mid-month review, or a mid-month collective. My collective readings are for everyone, so you can check that one out. That's on my main page. It's also on my website. And I'm going to be doing another one at the end of this month. So feel free, again, to tune in there. And if you haven't already subscribe, and I'll let you know when it's coming up. I'll post a link a little bit later in the video. I'm just trying to focus on getting everything set up here. At this point, I'm going to remain quiet and just pay attention to the cards and the messages associated with them, but I will rejoin you in just a moment. We'll talk about what's happening here. As I said at the beginning, you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon signs. You can also watch for other aspects of your chart like Venus. You can watch on behalf of other people. And the way that I work is that I'm intuitive. So even if you're not sure if this is your sign, or if you just need a message, you can show up and you're likely to receive some sort of guidance by being here. There's the balance right there. And another balance card. There's the crystal ball. Okay, let's take a look at all the messages. And we already got some synchronicities here in what came through. Your catalyst card, which helps you connect to the highest possible energy, is the poet. And we have, it literally was just like this, the exact color too. It was what I was just using here. So with this particular message, it's much of what I was saying, which if you can kind of keep your hands on what you're trying to do, your eyes on that as well. The Two of Wands typically shows a person holding what they're trying to do. It's holding the vision close to your heart, close to your third eye. It's a very good way of keeping it in your energy. So whatever you're trying to do, keep it in your energy. We also see a sort of interplay here between shadow and light. And for you, sometimes doubt or fear, because we see fear here in the outcome, comes through, and it may want to take that away from you. So you want to hold on to what you're trying to do and not be afraid of it. The poet is basically reminding you of the alchemic and important sort of power of words. So think in your mind the sort of phrase like I am, I am willing. See yourself as a kind of like a verb, if you will, that you are in the act of doing. So I am this will happen. I see this happening. Focus on that, believe that. And also listen to your intuitive downloads. Whenever I see, whether it's crows or doves, it doesn't matter. To me, that's definitely indicative of like ancestral energy coming through. So you can connect to the other side and get some help if you want to. But the poet piece is what we want to focus on here, which is the importance of words and mantras. So because when we look in career, we have a self-worth card coming through. One of the things that you want to see yourself as is, I am worthy, I am ready, I am willing. I bring on, I welcome in love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest light, now and always. Just create a little mantra. The I am worthy part is going to be enough. I am worthy and I am ready for abundance in all the highest forms. There you go. That sounds better. So just like me, you can make it up on the fly and then write it down, speak it, think it, write it, see it, be it. There you go. That's kind of the power of the poet. And that's all that a lot of our prayers are and mantras are. They're sometimes rhythmically or in rhyme, sort of, so that we can remember them, say them, feel them. So create your own poems and your own truth if you need to on these things. We have the Emperor card at the center. Really beautiful energy with this. It's upright, so there's no negative connotations. He's actually holding a chess piece here. So there's a strategic energy with this that you don't always see with the Emperor card. And I like the sort of relaxed pose that this particular Emperor has. When you are truly a strong leader, you don't have to prove it, right, to anybody. You can just feel confident and comfortable with who you are. And there's an ease with this, and that's what I like with what I'm seeing here. The other thing that's really interesting here, he has the Ankh symbol on his arm there. So again, when you feel powerful, when you trust your own sort of leadership capabilities, other people will feel, see, and sense that as well. Be strategic in your leadership this month. Do what makes sense for the long haul, not just a short-term gain. So for some of you, that's going to be a decision of, should I stay, should I go, should I say what I need to say? You're going to have to weigh how this will affect your long-term plans. And if you don't have long-term plans, you should make them. And that's the key thing here is he's in the strategy mode, not so much in speaking, not so much being in the front lines, but thinking what's next, how does this kind of interact with what's going on. There's a very sort of Mars-like energy with this. It looks like because of the sort of redness to the planet, right? It could be Mars, it could even be Mercury, either one. But if it is Mars, what we want to focus on is, again, what battles do you want to fight? And if it's Mercury, you have to focus on how you're going to be communicating and making sure that you're leading by example, not just by your words. But I can't help but see a planet behind him as I'm looking at this. I'm sure that wasn't accidental. Anyway, your leadership matters this month, so step up. And that's what I was seeing here for you as well. Make a good splash, a good first impression. So we have Page of Wands crossing that. I love page cards because they're showing a breakthrough movement, and pages have a very gentle energy with them and a lot of they're very mutable, they're very malleable. So with Page of Wands, ideas are forming. And the question here for you, and what we see with this particular page, is the ability to be free with that. Let them flow. Playfully kind of see what you can do with them as well. So to me, this is not just a baton, but it could also be sort of like a magic wand, right? So as you start to move with the idea, it kind of creates its own magic. That's what wands are, right? It's the suit of magic. That's why I love the Queen of Wands when I see her, because to me, she's one of the most magical, the most creative cards that you could find. She can think herself out of any situation. Page has that ability too, but may not trust it just yet. So trust your ideas, move with them, be playful with them. And even if you are set in your ways, try something new. You might be surprised by how this brings you new insight, okay? We have the Four of Wands in your deep past. So that's showing me a nice foundational energy and a very sticky energy. I talked about this. This is magnetic. So Four of Wands is good for friendships, great for relationships. It's really good for just all aspects of your life because just like you see, it kind of creates the spine or the pillars for something better to come. Even if no one or nothing is in your life that you want right now, if you hold space for it to arrive, just like Field of Dreams, it will come through. But you have to believe that it can and that you deserve it to come in, and you have to hold space and continue to sort of like feed that dream, feed that vision. Some of you may have found a really good friend or signed a really good contract or gotten into a really good relationship, and you're sort of sorting that out and seeing how does it feel. So if that's the case, great. I like the tambourine here. And what I see with this is kind of like marching to the beat of your own drum, making your own music, right? Just like that Mama Cass song. You want to make your own kind of music, your own sort of your imprint. You don't have to be anyone else, right? We did get the King of Wands, and he's equally as magical, so I'll take it. What we see again with this is it's almost, it feels like these two are brothers here, the way that this is illustrated. A little bit wiser though. You can see the gray hairs in the beard, the gray hairs in the top of his head, even though it's short hair. And what I like with all of these is that none of the leadership cards are in your face, or you don't have to prove, right, who you are. I just see someone who is strong. And we, of course, have the sort of Leo potential energy in the background as well. So some of you may have that kind of person that's come into your life, really strong leader, someone that's inspiring, someone that has sort of this hidden power, because we also see the salamander here. All of these are symbols of the sort of fire energy. So for you, look at how he's even got his hand in his pocket, just relaxed and ready. Your confidence this month is not to be underestimated and can actually have a really soothing effect on people around you. So when you're at ease with a decision, or if you can just sort of put forth that feeling like, I'm comfortable with however this will work out. I may not know everything, but I feel like it's right. And I really feel it. So I hope that you will too. Other people will feel at ease because you're at ease. If you're not, it's just like, children or animals, they can pick up on that. Apollo's napping behind me and he moved his bed, which he often does. If I was really stressed out, like yesterday when there was an internet interruption, the dog could tell. He was like, what's going on? You're nervous. It's making me nervous. So know that your energy is affecting other people. And I want you to just sort of stay balanced and even, which is a nice segue into the Justice card. So Justice upright is actually quite good. It shows me that either you're achieving some newfound balance in your life, or you're at the precipice of figuring something out, making a decision. Doesn't necessarily say that you've decided, because it's in the crowning position, which to me is, the wheels are turning, but it portends good things. It tells me that balance is now more important than it was before. Notice how she's holding like this sword here, because it's not just, it is a sword, it's like sheathed, but so at some point it feels like you're gonna have to take action and move forward. There's a hidden Queen of Swords in this kind of energy. So when you're ready to speak your mind, speak it. The same lesson that we saw with the King of Wands holds true with this card, which is that it's time to be strong, to lead by example. And, she's overcome the other part of her that might be a little bit more, moody, or, working too fast, or thinking or speaking before she thinks. So everything in its right time. There's been a message between both Sagittarius and Capricorn that's really about patience, balance, waiting, feeling it out, because both of your spirit totems have been very patient and also been very good at getting what they want. The eagle and the spider are equally good at hunting. So anyway, I feel like something good is on the horizon, but the decision sits in your hands. And if you try to have someone else make the decision, you shouldn't. We have the Emperor and the King of Wands. You have everything that it takes to decide. And if someone else doesn't agree with you, this is where there might be a need to sort of take your legs and snip that part of the web off, because it feels like you're supposed to be owning something right now. It's just a question of if you're ready. In a love situation, it could be interesting because we have two very strong energies here. The King of Wands and the Emperor. We also have a very playful Page of Wands here. So there could be a new person coming into your life that defies expectation, because this can just be the expectation. This could also be you, and this could be sort of a younger energy that is causing you to sort of like reevaluate what you're looking for. So either way, I see that the scales are out of balance a little bit, and you're trying to figure out how to bring some balance into your life. Good, because that's the next message too. We're getting a lot of the same. The Two of Pentacles holds a special message with it. There are different balance cards, obviously Justice, but it contains a decision element to it. There's the Six of Pentacles, which says you're going to have enough. You just have to make the right choice. There's a Two of Pentacles, which means there's a sacrifice or a trade-off. And that's what my ancestral guide was showing me. There would be a trade-off. You can't have everything. You're going to have to choose one or the other, or you'll have to temporarily put something to the side and focus, and then come back and finish it. This balance requires some sort of a trade-off, but you can do it. And basically, you still have a big ace here. So when you let go of one, you still have an ace. So 2 minus 1 is 1, and you can take 1 and you can make more. So put your energy into something that matters. That's what I see with this Two of Pentacles. It's not that there's not enough. It's that you might not be focusing as much as you should, and you need to be holding that one close, that one thing that you really need and want and are trying to breathe some life into, because I feel like that's going to be really, really positive for the year ahead for you. This corresponds with that spider that I saw that was just finishing up its meal. So we see the Empress here, which is super symbolic of fertility and abundance. So it doesn't have to just be children. This can be any kind of creative thing that you want to bring in your life. So if you're trying to change something in your body, like just to be healthier, this can show that that movement's going to happen. If you're working on a thesis, if you're working on a patent, if you're working on a hobby, I see something really positive happening with that, as long as you continue to honor that, because the card was reversed. So again, it's just about making sure that you're investing in yourself, that you're protecting something that you want to be working on. And we have the lunar energy coming through with this as well. So paying attention to the subtle messages that you're getting from dreams, from meditations as well. And the moon brings balance to the planet. Basically, we have another Two of Pentacles here. Are you seeing it? I'm seeing it. This to me looks very lunar. This here is the sun, the moon rather, and then we have the Earth here. So ground yourself in what you need to do, and things will start to make sense for you. Okay. Here's the interesting thing. We have the Tower in the environment. So this is not necessarily you, but it's around you. So if it's your house, it's time to clean the house. If it's a relationship, the relationship definitely needs to be focused on. And there could be an indication that it's time to release or move on, because these two together, that could tip the scales and say, like, this isn't giving you the balance that you want. If it's a workplace or people around you, change is happening. I don't necessarily see a tower as bad. I see it as movement. The reverse tower has a much more auspicious energy than the upright tower. This is your head is spinning. This is my guide is coming through and telling you that things are going to happen fast and that your head will be spinning. So now you get to make a choice about how quickly, how much, etc. And you get to bring some balance in. You get to decide what you want to do with the changes that are about to happen. Okay. We have a little squirrel here. He was a guide earlier this month for another sign. What I see here is that you've made some of the preparations necessary. What does a squirrel do but hide those nuts and all of its kind of food away for a stormy day or for something that's going to happen? So you're prepared for the change. And then we also see the beautiful butterflies as a part of this transformation that's happening here. So I feel like it's positive, honestly, for you. It's just a matter of, are you ready? And I think you are, because you're here today. So there could be a move for you. There could be a breakup. There could be some sort of might be leaving a situation, but I do think that you've had a heads up, and or you're going to be able to kind of like wrap your head around this, because it's in the environment and you're already thinking about it. So for those of you that think maybe I need to move on, that's a yes. Maybe this isn't a good match, that's a yes. Maybe something's weird, that's a yes. That plus the spider tells me you need to create your own sort of like escape route for that. For anyone that's in a happy place in their life, this is about shaking up the energy, because sometimes death, if it were to appear here, would show stagnation. The Tower reversed is almost the answer to death reversed. So it's saying, hey, we see you're stagnating, so either you make the change or we'll make it for you, we being the powers that be. So please take an active role right now to make some changes in your life. Change up your health routine, change up your day-to-day routine, take a different way home if you normally drive or walk on a certain path, change it up. It's important and it will help. And if you feel like something's already happening, embrace the energy of change. If you do that, the Tower will just be there to help you roll along. If not, it's going to happen anyway, and you'll have less control over it. Okay? So don't worry. It's environmental. It's not you. So I'd rather see it there than in yourself, in your heart, in your head. To me, there's something going on around you. You already know about it. So deal with it. And that's basically what that card is saying. The sooner you deal with the change, the happier you'll be. And we do have a lot of balance cards coming through, so I feel like you can do it, okay? If you're looking to start a family, yes, this is a good time, but there is a couple things that I want to focus on. Your stress management is going to be key, and we have 3 balance cards in a diagonal. The Justice card, literally balance, the Two of Pentacles, balance, and then this one, which has 2 symbols, which just mirrored the balance energy that we have here. This shows a lack of balance. So if you're trying to start something, whether it's a family or a project, if you have something in your environment that is making you feel unstable, it's not going to be as successful as you want. So we don't want that if you're trying to have a family. We don't want that for anything. So it's important to clean up what's around you. Stress, family, relationships, all that stuff, so that you can put your power and energy into what you're supposed to be doing, okay? Emotions are also really important this month. We have King of Cups, he's reversed. So how strong you're feeling things this month could absolutely have an effect on how clear your decision-making is. So take some time to decompress, to talk to people if you're not feeling yourself. You know, I just talked this month about the power of the starfish, its regenerative capabilities. I think not all, but most species are able to regrow a leg. Some of them even split themselves in two and grow another half, and that's part of their reproductive cycle. So if you're at a place right now where you have split from someone or something, so it could be a job, it could be a love interest, and you feel like you're not complete, you're not whole, because I think of I had an uncle once that lost a job, and he just wasn't quite the same after that because he identified with the title. Even my father, when he had retired, he had sort of a similar issue of like, what am I now? Because I was this, I had this title all my life. So you're not your title, you're not your relationship, you're not your hair, you're not your clothes. These are just aspects of you, and you can regrow from certain experiences of loss. And that's basically what we're seeing here, is it's time to regenerate a little bit. Could also be love coming into your life, but are you ready? When the cup is reversed, especially the ultimate in that suit, I would say no. There's something that needs to happen for balance first, okay? And once you see that and feel that, I think things will be good. Could be a Pisces coming into your life, because there's a lot of fish on here. We even see a little Pisces there. So, but for you, I feel like emotional stability, because it's right above the tower, is going to be the key thing. So if we look at this, this is you owning your stability, owning your life, bringing some focus into it, bringing some balance, and I think things will be okay. And finally, we have the Two of Swords, which is the antithesis of the Two of Wands. This is someone not knowing where they're going, not knowing what they're doing, being incapable to sort of make that decision. And the encouragement here is to not look for perfection when it comes to a path. Oftentimes, it's like shades of black and white, shades of gray, if you will. So if you have two choices in front of you, you have a hard time choosing, you're going to have to go within and think, in this moment in time, what's best? You can strategize a little bit and think, maybe in 2 or 3 years, will this work? And then you have to move, because the Two of Swords can lead to stagnation, and you can lose a window of opportunity. So rather than stress about the Two of Swords, I'm going to show you something. This card is really cool. I mean, if you look at, we see the Two of Swords, but we also kind of see that it looks a lot like the balance thing, right? The two basically looks like what we see right here with Justice. So you already have the decision-making capability within. Take the blindfolds off and just decide to go somewhere. Looking at the web and looking at the sort of manipulative energy that could be going on, we also see these crows adding to some of the nonsense here. It's almost like they're wrapping the bandana around or pulling it tighter, or even like pulling at her hair. So if there's people in your life that are antagonizing you or making you doubt your decision-making ability, or are muting you, since this is also the suit of communication, definitely it's time to move away from those people and cut those cords, okay? So because we have the spider today, we might do cord cutting. I'm gonna write it down, and I'll see if it makes sense when we get into the latter portion of the reading. But I'm gonna just say cord cutting and see if there's anything that we need to look at, either when I pull cards for the soul path or when we do the meditation. Okay, let's move into the expanded forecast, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll start with the health card here, Archangel Michael. This is an ascended being that I work with a lot, very good. The encouragement here is, yes, you can do it. So if there's something that you need to do to feel healthier, happier, or more complete, since we saw the King of Cups card reversed, the encouragement here is, yeah, it looks like it's a good move for you, okay? I work with every candle that you see here. We have, actually, did I do 7 today? Because I lit this one up here, which I don't always do. So I say prayers before I start every reading. I did an extra one today for the technology to make sure that the connection stayed strong. But Archangel Michael is always one that I work with. Michael and Gabriel are two very, very good archangels. Gabriel can help you with communication. Michael can help you with protection. For anybody that's working on intuitive abilities, those are great. This particular angel can help protect and guard sort of your energy, and Gabriel can kind of act as a bouncer and a filter to make sure that what comes through is in that highest light. So if you only work with two, these are two great ones to get started to. Archangel Michael especially came through for you. Let's look at some other aspects of your physical or spiritual self that need to be looked at. We do have at the center here someone that's sitting down. We have a couple of three king cards. They're all sitting. So whenever I see a lot of kings or queens in the spread, I would say movement is important. And what did we have in your environment but some movement? I would like you to take a look at your environment and make sure that you clean things up. The tower is not a great card to have in the environment. It can show a potential for like tripping on something, or maybe, if there's clutter, or it's time to look at like the stairs or the foundations of things. So just make sure that your house and your surroundings are clear and clean and free of clutter. This also helps you avoid negative energies, because low frequency things out there, they're not all, there's, I would say, entities, if you want to. There are some low frequency entities that like to kind of attach themselves to junk and clutter. So when you clean your house, you make it easier for this kind of stuff to come through, which is what you want. So clear, brighter, open. That's why behind me, I have a lot of space in this particular area of my house, because I want the energy to move around me as I'm doing this. And I can't have a lot of clutter or a lot of density, or it would be counterproductive. Okay. So my advice is to kind of think of the same with your environment. I keep seeing that in the environment. So if something needs to be cleared, or you don't like where you're at, or you need to sort of do something to feel more at home, whatever it is, do that. Balance, vertigo. That's what I thought of when my spirit guide was showing me circles and circles and circles. So if you have vertigo, hit pause, go to the doctor, and then come back and later finish this video. That is something that's important you need to take a look at. Could be low blood sugar, could be something else. You don't want to mess around with that. Could be something in the inner ear. So whatever it is, balance issues came through, and this can definitely show a lack of balance. Okay. And that message about it can happen quicker than you think can also tell me that if your balance is off, you just don't want that to happen. Okay. So that's the only message there with health that I would kind of pay attention to. Two of Swords can also say it's time to get your eyes looked at, optometrist, because she's blindfolded. So pay attention as well. This is a more broader term here when I'm looking at the Tower and the Two of Swords. Watch what you're doing and be focused on that. And then also balance the load. If you are in physical labor, or if you work at a restaurant, or even if you're just carrying a briefcase, purse, or attaché, make sure to switch arms, or maybe get a backpack. A knapsack. That's supposed to be better, I believe. I listened to someone online that said that, but talk to your doctor about that. You want to kind of like balance the load rather than just having it on one side. And if you do wear some sort of a backpack, I know students do this sometimes. Don't leave one of the two sides off, because then that's going to make this side kind of off. So wear it with, you basically just want to make sure that you're holding your posture upright. So pay attention to spinal health as well. All right. Standard disclaimers apply. I'm not a doctor, but you should look at any of this stuff if you're feeling out of balance, or if your spine isn't feeling healthy. Okay, let's take a look at your career. I actually like that this card is reversed. So this is telling me that some of you have already started to focus on increased self-worth, but there's still a little bit of a struggle because it came through. Even reversed, it's still telling me that you need to focus on this. In tarot, this would be Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is often, or the Four, and we'll talk about the two different meanings. Four of Pentacles is often the feeling like, this is all I'm going to have, so I better hold on to it. It's a sort of reductive energy, and it can sort of be a mentality that you're not going to be able to open up to abundance. So you want to reverse that and say, this is just the beginning. It's going to get even better after this. Or you could rebound if something wasn't what you wanted it to be. It doesn't mean that you're shrinking, you're growing always when it comes to abundance. The Five of Pentacles is usually because someone took something away from you. And I kind of see the Five of Pentacles as someone took the sixth away because you already have the balance, but you've forgotten it. So this can be parents, guardians, siblings, someone close to you that really knows how to kind of get in to your headspace, and they made you doubt yourself. So all you have to do is to release the doubt, release the fear that maybe also accompanies doubt. And trust yourself. And you can't always get the recognition that you want from someone else. So if you're at a job and you've been passed over for, one review after another, you're not getting ahead. If you're in a relationship, your partner doesn't remember you. If your parents never kind of gave you the love and support that you wanted, whether you have siblings or not, this is basically saying that is on them. These are people that are projecting their own feelings of fear or inadequacy, and it is not a representation of your self-worth, right? So what you have to do is, we got a ton of, you are the emperor, so sit in that chair, right? It's your time right now to step up, okay? Let's look at some other messages with wealth when I look at the tarot cards. If you're in a company, there very well could be restructuring or a new boss coming in, new coworker that's shaking things up, something shaking the energy up a little bit. If you are owning your own business, this could be transformative in a good way, but things are changing. So start to work with the changes. Like I said, if you notice a change, do more of that if it's positive. If you don't like it, get to the bottom of it quickly so that you can clear this out, okay? Whenever the tower comes through, it's actually a sort of kind thing from the universe saying, it's not working, so we're gonna make you fix it right now. So again, once you fix it, that's gonna be better. Looking at your money specifically, you should be the one making decisions right now. So if someone else, like your partner or a child or someone else, is kind of stepping in and trying to take control, just make sure that you know what's going on, that you have a say in this, because it's you too. There is a need for some of you, if you're separating from a business entity, from a relationship, or you're divesting a property or something, definitely pay attention to all the legalese. Get a lawyer on your side, for sure. And make sure that you are getting a nice 50-50 split if you can, because that's what this would indicate too. And you may not get everything you want, but I do feel like you'll have enough. So the Two of Pentacles I will take. It ultimately is balance. And I see a nice abundant energy here in your own source and soul. So I feel like you can create even more from that. The Two of Pentacles will be more than enough. But if you want to and you don't feel like something's good, it is time to move on. The Justice card and the Tower, it's a yes. If I had to say, like, should I go? Yes, you should, okay? Because you're not happy. And there's maybe for you a glass ceiling. There's no clear vision of where the future would be. It could also just be you and a partner where you're diverging a little bit when it comes to future plans, right? Could be about starting a family. It could be about going back to work. This can be a little bit of both. Whatever it is, it feels like you are equal in this relationship and you should focus on that, okay? So these are money issues as well as personal issues, but it's coming up here as I'm looking at this because that's how tarot works. So anyway, those are the self-worth things. You're supposed to be focusing more on you. This isn't bad that she was reversed because your other power cards were upright. Your King cards and your Emperor cards were upright. The Justice card was upright. The only thing that's kind of coming through a little off is emotional stability. So make sure that happiness is a definite component in whatever decision you're going to make. All right. Let's take a look now at love. We were touching on it a little bit. We have the third eye coming through here. So basically, for many of you, you're going to see beyond the physical here. And this is what I was talking about when I was sitting in some of those rooms, interviewing or meeting people. You can usually tell on a first encounter, whether it's friendship or a date, within minutes, if there's a connection and if you trust the person. The rest is just sort of like validation. People can surprise you with the additional levels that they have, but usually within a minute or two, or a handshake or an exchange of energy, it's pretty clear where that person sits in your life. So I want you to focus on what your third eye is showing you in all relationships. This is important for old relationships because if we see something and deny it, it becomes the Seven of Swords. It's the lie we tell ourselves. And then it can invite the person to kind of come through as the Seven of Swords. So what you see is what you see. Trust it. Trust what you're seeing with this. And by the way, for some of you, the third eye can come through in different ways. It's not always some of you may feel pressure and you'll get a vision, all of that. Some of you, it might be a dream. Some of you, it could be just a clairsentient knowledge that's inside. And you're like, I don't know why, but I really like, or I really don't like this. Whatever that is, it's absolutely here. And we saw that. That's why the spider came through. It's really psychic. It's a very psychic insect, right? So listen to your intuition, okay? Let's look at the love cards here just a little bit. Like I said, for some of you, when I'm looking at you and I'm looking at someone that just came into your life, it kind of looks like a good match to me. When I see two evenly balanced energies, I don't necessarily read gender when I look at cards. I just look at how even they are. So we have a king and a king, and I like that. Different sort of energies here, where the one thing that's kind of lacking is communication. And it feels like there's a lot of strong mental energy around this. So I could just say, like, some of you might be stubborn and your partner might be stubborn, and this could be difficult. So in existing relationships, because I'm reading past, I would say the biggest thing is, like, show how you feel and say how you feel if you can, because there's a lot going on in here and in here, but there's not a lot of exchange. So for those of you in love, in a relationship, communication is important. It does feel like for those of you in love or in a relationship, there's a necessary change that has to happen. Maybe one partner's moving, maybe somebody's just had kind of a big breakthrough in their career, and it's a question of, like, well, how do I factor into this? So there has to be a balance that happens in these old relationships, or they may not continue because it feels like one or both parties is ignoring something. If you are single and looking, we'll move towards the future here. We have the King of Cups reversed, so it's telling me that you're looking for love, but it feels like you may or may not be ready, or if you find someone, it could be overwhelming. And again, it could be a really awesome water sign or creative energy. I love the King of Cups as a partner, actually. This is a really good card, but it feels like there's some sort of lack of readiness here. And again, we have balance, and we have balance here. So it feels like get your life sorted and then start to focus on that. So it's a not yet because there's too much balance work that needs to happen. Or this person could just really send you spinning. Like my guide showed me, spinning and spinning and spinning. So this could be a really intense energy. Ground yourself, don't lose track, and don't get infatuated. That's what I would say. If you're single and happy, good. It feels like it's a good time to be single and happy. Again, focusing on what you want to do. Tune out some of the nonsense. Maybe you're even going to hermit a little bit and decide to focus on one thing for work. That's okay, because if you put all that passion into something, I see something great coming through as a result. So there you go. In a relationship, looking for love or not looking for love, it's a pretty good month, but there is change, and that has to be dealt with across all factors of relationships. Let's take a look now at your destiny card. Destiny for me is not like stone tablets coming down from the mountain. This is something that you're writing and weaving. It's the spider that we talked about earlier. So we have a kind of scary looking deity here, which is fear. So I would expect that. So you may feel triggered this month. And this isn't necessarily bad. When I think of what a person that performs, whether they're a singer or an actor, or maybe you're doing something like this, like public speaking and Zooming, and you're not comfortable with it, that can just be the queasiness that you feel, the butterflies. Like, how am I going to do this? Is this going to be okay? You can use that energy, breathe, focus, and just say, you know what, I'm going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to do an amazing job. So transmute fear into something you can use. If you don't feel a little nervous about something, you may be too comfortable, and you're supposed to get out of your comfort zone. So it's okay to be afraid, but don't be so afraid that you don't move, because the Two of Swords is very much aligned with the destiny card here. So this is your outcome, and this is your destiny. They're the same. Don't let fear hold you back. You take that off, and you have an Ace of Swords, right? So get rid of one of those crows, take your blindfolds off, move forward, spread your wings, okay? I just feel like you're just torn here a little bit between two options. So you can't make everyone happy. This is one thing that it took me way too long to learn. The more you try to make everyone happy, the less effective it's going to be. So don't do that, okay? Let's go ahead and do a quick mini review here at the center, and then we're going to go deeper into, I want to look at some of the stuff here that's going on. I'm really curious about the Tower. Who wouldn't be? So I want to see what the changes in your environment. Let's see how it factors in with like the Justice card. Let's take a look at relationships since they seem a little messy. And then let's do a wild card. And then at the end, throw me a question psychically, and then I'll answer it for you. But let's do a mini review first. If you just joined, you have cosmically perfect timing. Welcome. We're going to tie everything together here in about 5 minutes, and then we're going to go into the next part of the reading. So the energy that I saw this morning, when I was waking up, I saw a spider. It was eating, and it woke me out of my dreams. And I smiled, and I quickly wrote it down. I was like, all right, that's definitely what we're going to talk about today. The spider I actually feel a lot of affinity towards because it's the ultimate symbol of being creative. It's very connected. Literally, it lives on a web and it uses the web to survive. And it's super attracting, like it has a great attractive energy or a magnetic energy. So you too can be sort of like that dream catcher, pulling in positive energy, positive dreams. The spider reminds you that you are the creator. Like we're all connected to the divine, right? So we have the ability to spin our own energy, our own webs. And that's what this is really saying. Each thought, each deed is a section of your cosmic web. And so really pay attention to what you're creating. What also, if you look at what's coming into your life right now and you don't like it, then it's time to change something about yourself, not so much these other people. They're mirrors of what's coming through. So that's why the Empress was reversed. She wants you to focus on you. And by the way, I didn't see it the first time with the Emperor and the Empress. In a relationship, it really is more about personal growth this month. So some of you, that could be your partnership. And it just feels like it's all about balance and development. So anyway, I needed to mention that before I forgot. It's never too late to start over or rebuild. It just takes some time and it takes some patience, something that spiders are really good at. So take your time and do something the right way the first time. Spiders are super psychic. Probably on some deck out there, you should see it on the High Priestess. If not, they're missing something. Just as a spider can sense both danger and opportunities, you too are going to be kind of into that spidey sense. You're going to be able to find certain new things coming through this month. But I especially want you to pay attention if there's something going on and it just feels like this is a distraction, this is toxic, this isn't right. That's something you definitely want to listen to. Trust how you feel when you make a decision. The frequency always reveals itself to you. Super important. You are going to know, and then it's just a question of, are you listening? In certain folklore, gods like Iktomi will come through, and they are shapeshifters, sometimes troublemakers. They're very rarely just black or white or good or bad. It's sort of like you just want to pay attention, and there might be people in your life coming through with that sort of arachnid sort of energy where they're sneaking around. So be careful of that, obviously. Don't get caught up in their webs or in their deception or in their sort of cunning. You have the same capability yourself. So be the smart spider and don't let someone else pull you in. There's a dance that's part of some of their mating rituals, rather. And so for you, I'm kind of going to abstract that and say that first impressions definitely count. You want to go out and show everything. I said use your whole bag of tricks. Basically go the distance if I'm going to take it beyond that sort of figure of speech. I know not everyone has English as a first language. So go that extra distance to make sure that people see that you care. Show them that you are invested. You have a magnetic quality, so things are going to stick. It's a good time to start something new. You might have to make some sort of a sacrifice or choice, though, in what it is that you're doing, right? Stick with it, complete it, see it through to fruition. Your beliefs are attractive. They can also be sort of what we see here with the Tower card. They can bring things down to their foundation. So believe in yourself, go towards the higher energy whenever possible. Dream something beautiful, hold onto that vision, which we actually saw here, and it matched the crystal ball that I was showing you earlier. My ancestral guide came through showing that you're on a 1-year cycle. This ancestor, which was a woman, was in a field of grass, and it seemed like an endless sea of grass, if you will. And she was spinning and spinning and spinning, and she told me that it's going to happen so fast that your head will feel dizzy or like you're spinning. So take some time to ground yourself. You don't want to lose track or lose balance. 2022 is the beginning of a nice cycle as well, 2022 to 2026 in particular. So you have to stay focused so you can take advantage of this. Family was coming through. They were showing me an empty frame. They wanted you to honor them, and they're honoring you as well. And also it's a reminder that it's time to make some memories that matter. Do something that makes it feel like the work, the energy, all of it is worth it. It's not just work. It's not just love. It's also you and how you're developing. Remembering here with the catalyst here that you are the creator. The words you say, the things you think, they're all part of that journey. So just like I was saying, 2 of Wands, you want to like hold your vision here and also you're going to go between the two. Don't lose track of this. Don't lose track of this. You have to multitask a little bit this month, right? All right. That is heavier than it looks. It's like 3 or 4 pounds. I don't know. It feels heavy. Okay. So let's go ahead now and let's go into the soul path. I want to look at the Tower because if it were my reading and I was getting this, I would say, what's this about? Let's drill deeper into the tower. So it showed up in the environment, changes around you. So let's ask your guides and the cards, what's the message that you need to know for changes happening around you? What do you need to focus on? Okay, so we have 5 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands card here is topsy-turvy here, it's upside down. But what I like about this one is if we look at it in the upright position, it does feel like there's some teamwork happening. So you've made a good connection there with others in your life. Some of what you're hearing that's going on around you could come word of mouth. I think you're going to have to kind of like trust the source, because remember, we have both the spiders and then, you know, the good people here. So I would say listen to your intuition and see if you should listen to that. But it does feel like you have a good network. Whatever happens, you're going to be able to survive it. Some of you are just feeling like the thrill is gone, though. The 5 of Wands, if I were to give it a song, that would be it. It's sort of like disillusionment. I'm busy, I'm working, but I don't see why I'm working. Or I'm in this relationship and it's a lot of work, but I don't understand why I'm putting so much energy into it. So this is a chance to kind of get your head above water and see, literally, because we had the King of Cups here reversed. So get your head above water and think, how hard did I get to work to get to this point? If I weren't to do this, how would I feel? What else do I wish I were doing? And how can I kind of make that happen? Do a little soul searching here. Get some perspective. You're doing more than you think. The 5 of Wands always has this hidden message, which is you're doing a good job or it wouldn't show up. I had to kind of look at the bottom card with this too, so I'm going to pull it out. Patience is key. So I think for you, not losing track of how long it takes to do something is important. So you're actually going to get a couple extra cards, because when I put the deck down, I saw it and I was like, I got to talk about temperance now. All right, so there you go. Be patient. Patience is the freedom here. And by the way, we have one more balance card here, right? It's all over the deck for you today. Here we have, it looks like the sun and the moon, right? Yeah. And this was just the moon and the earth. Anyway, what we're seeing here is I want you to just make sure that what you're doing brings you a sense of fulfillment, balance, etc. So your environment, something needs to be balanced out. You're either working too hard, you're not working hard enough, the other partner's not putting enough into it if it's a relationship issue, or this isn't giving you what you need to grow and expand. So be patient, figure it out, and then decide. You can move on if you want to, but it feels like you're vacillating. There's indecision, right? So make the decision. Let's make that the next question. How can you make the best decision for movement, for being happy, for being stable, for whatever it is in your life? Let's just see how you can make the best decision possible. 2 of Cups. You're not alone. So for some of you, it's just about talking to someone. The card was reversed, but this is still a really positive message coming through. So you have friendship, you have community there to help you out. The other thing here is you don't have to do it all either. So you can read this both ways. So like I was saying, in a relationship, in a partnership, in a team, you are not the only one. Delegate, push that onto some other people. They should be happy to help you out. They just may not be as good at volunteering, or they might just be thinking, hey, you're willing to take that. I'm willing to let you take it because I want some free time. So speak up, push back, reach out a little bit. You've done a good job with other people in the past. I can see it here. You're a good friend. This wouldn't come up if it wasn't true. So let some other people be some good friends for you too. It's hard, especially if you're the type of person that is independent and is used to doing it their own way. It's hard to let somebody in. But I think that if you let someone in, you might be surprised by what happens, okay? Also, you might just decide to make a decision based on love, you know? So I mentioned that the Tower and the King of Cups card could just be that you're falling head over heels for someone, and there might be sort of like this move associated with business, and maybe they got a job somewhere, or you're moving and you want them to come with you. You can explore that. It does feel like both sides need to be balanced, and all I see is scales everywhere I look today. So either you have a Libra coming in because Justice is a Libra, or you have this really emotional energy that we saw with the King of Cups, and it's just sort of like getting your head on straight. You were spinning in circles that my guide wanted you to take care of yourself, okay? Let me take a look really quick at the wild card and see what else we need to focus on. And then in just a few moments, I'm going to pull an extra card. I see there's already some questions in chat, so hold those, whatever your question is, and when I pull the card, I'll answer it. But first things first, let's see if I missed anything. What other messages want to come through? All right. Hanged Man, patience, right? What I like about this, though, is that it feels like there's a lot more freedom to this Hanged Man. This is almost like Cirque du Soleil, acrobatic sort of energy. And it's reminding you of the insight that you get from taking a moment to decide. In mythology, it was Odin that hung upside down and gained knowledge. And it was a sacrifice that he was willing to make. So sometimes there's a sacrifice of time so that you can learn something. But for some of you, it's telling me this isn't going to last forever, but I don't want you to immediately rush through something until you've learned the lesson. And if you've separated from something already, like quit a job, left a relationship, etc., make sure that you take a moment to decompress. Do like a little mini life review here and now to figure out, what do I need to learn? Why did this happen? And how can I stop it from happening? Or how can I make more of this happen instead? So that's the message when we're looking at that. Let's, before we meditate, just a couple of notes. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. If you've already subscribed, don't worry about it. If you haven't liked, please like. And if you have, thank you, don't worry about it. And the bell icon is really good for getting notifications for when I go live. One last note, I'd love for you to follow me on social media if you haven't already. So my social media handles on most platforms are at Nicholas Ashbaugh. So feel free to follow me there. And Twitter is just my first initial last name if you like to follow me there. All right, let's move along to the meditation. Meditation lasts like 2 minutes, so stick around. I know some of you don't like to meditate, but we have a final card that's coming up afterwards. So I saw some questions about guides and some other things. So hold that for the final card, and we will pull a card there to kind of help you with any questions that are going on in your life, whether it's something related to your career or to your love life. It's a great time to sort of get a yes, no, and a slightly more detailed answer. And a reminder again that I'll be doing another collective at the end of this month. So if you like the last one, stick around, and I'll put the link out later so that you can see my schedule. So for this meditation, it seems pretty clear to me that the main focus needs to be you focusing on balance, bringing balance into your life. So we have a lot of sun and moon energy, and I'm going to kind of triangulate us between the two of those to bring you that balance. So imagine now that you are just sitting at the top of a hill. Let's do a morning meditation. And I want you to see that just like the tree behind you, you're able to put your roots into the planet, ground yourself. For those of you that feel like your head's been spinning, this is a time to really feel like, okay, I need to slow down for a second. I need to take a deep breath. Because sometimes when we do that, we have the freedom to move and see things from a different perspective. So that's why temperance here actually has wings. All right, so imagine that you could lean against this tree, trace the energy down into the planet, and just like that tree, you're going to root yourself here and say, I am ready now to explore because I know I can always come back. I know who I am. I know what I want. Reach up into the cosmos, into the sky. And as you're connected to the earth, I want you to go just above the atmosphere here so that you can now see the moon and the sun. So you are rooted into the planet. It's almost like you're growing these branches in this like the world tree, right? In Nordic religions or mythology. So imagine that you're like the world tree. You're reaching up all the way to the top, and you can now get just above the planet. You're squarely between the moon and the sun. And I want you to see yourself as that receiving energy. So it's a triangle. The sun here, you're on the earth, and then the moon. Beautiful triangle of energy. So bring forth the nurturing energy of the moon, the active energy, the fiery energy of the sun, and this sort of grounding energy that's going to bring it all together here from planet Earth. We'll meditate for 1 minute listening to the singing bowl, and then I'll answer the collective questions that you might have. So close your eyes. See yourself as the world tree reaching up drinking in the sunlight, the moonlight, and also the nutrients of the earth. And you are becoming stronger, more stable. Your head's not spinning anymore, and you can see in all the directions and figure things out. So you can imagine, if you want to, any of those three kind of energies. The earth would be sort of maybe more of a brown sort of energy if you wanted to, or darker energy. You could have the silver energy of the sun, or the beautiful kind of golden white light of the earth, of the sun itself. Yeah. So silver, gold, or brown. I'm kind of seeing those energies around you in the triangle. All right, close your eyes, listen to the singing bowl, and I'll be right back after this to help answer any questions that you have. Take a nice deep breath. Stretch out your arms, stretch out your hands. Feel that you could reach all the way to the sun, to the moon, to the stars and planets far beyond that. And in this moment in time, I want you to also feel like you could do all of that and still not lose your balance. In this moment in time, you've been able to reach beyond and keep your head on straight. Keep that energy of expansion and also grounding with you. If you need to, you can use a grounding stone. I showed one here that's not your typical one, but it's kind of cool for this. This is labradite, so you could use something like this if you wanted to. But I want you now to just really give yourself the ability to move and be strong and stable, because sometimes we worry that we're going to lose our footing, we're going to lose ourselves. You're not going to do any of the above. Think of the question that you have in your mind. We're going to look at the final card now. Whatever you have, it could be about work, it could be about love, it could be another major decision in your life that we didn't have time to cover today. So think about it, ask it psychically, you don't have to type it, and I'm going to pull a card and give you yes, no, and I'm also going to give you a little bit more insight onto something that you're going through. This works whether you're watching it live or later. Okay, right there. Okay, King of Swords in reverse. So this would be a yes card. But it would say that part of what you need to do is to speak up. Let's pull it up right so we can see the illustration. So with the King of Swords, basically here, this is really depending on you being outspoken, transparent, honest, and probably a lot more direct than you're used to being because it was reversed. There's always a bit of a warning with the King or Queen of Swords when they're reversed to understand the audience and to say just enough, but not too much. So brevity is definitely necessary if you're going to have King of Swords reversed energy. What I like about this one too is that a lot of the things that we've been talking about have kind of showed up. We see a bat, we see a crow, we see an owl, we see all the different sort of animal. We even see a dragonfly behind him. So I really like that he's not limiting himself to any given platform. So I feel that for some of you, there is an encouragement to try it a different way. To go about your communication in a different channel. So whether that's metaphorically speaking, and you know, instead of writing it, you're going to pick up the phone and talk to someone, or if you work and have your own business, or if it's part of your job function, you might be looking at different communication methods like text versus social media versus an email or newsletter or something like that. So multiple channels, multi-channel is what I see with him. And that's the key to success, not just one particular broadcast method. You're going to have to go on a few different ones, because to meet people, especially if this is business or if this is about you finding a job or something, you have to kind of like blast it on a bunch of planets, not planets, but platforms to make it happen. The other thing here with the King of Swords is, for those of you that are creative, this is a really good time to put the pen to paper and record, download, create. If you're a musician, if you're a writer, if you're a scientist, you might be getting some intuition and some ideas that are going to lead to something big. So take advantage of it. They'll take flight. So it's definitely a yes, but there is an outspoken quality to this card because it's reversed. That's telling me that you will have to probably speak up, stand out a little bit, and you're going to have to pay attention to the audience and reach out to the different types of audience. And you should tailor the message, by the way, for those different people. So especially for those of you that are job searching, the King of Swords reverse would say each particular sort of resume deserves its own cover letter or its own sort of mission statement. Or if you're typing this stuff into a form, you're going to want to have something that you use again and again, but then you're going to tailor it. So tailor what you're using for the intended audience, make them feel special, make them feel seen. One last thing is I'm picking up on a little bit of solar plexus energy as I'm looking at this. So for some of you, it is about just speaking up, maybe even against a teacher, mother, authority figure, and there's a lot to say. So weigh your words and plan it out and rehearse it a little bit beforehand, okay? So that concludes everything for this month. I do see some extra questions. One thing that I would encourage you to do is to come to my collective readings or come to my Instagram lives. So let me give you some more information on how you can stay in touch with me. So all of my social media handles they can be found here. And if you ever want to join in on an Instagram live, you can join me here. And I also wanted to give you some information about the upcoming, the upcoming collective is on Sunday, the 25th. So there's the date for that. And you can find all of my live feeds on my website here. So there's some more information there. Maria just put my book information. So for those of you that enjoy fantasy or sci-fi, I wrote a book last year. It's called The Luminous Ones. It would be very much akin to what you would see in Lord of the Rings or Dune. So it's definitely more fantasy and science fiction. If that's your cup of tea, take a look at it. It's available anywhere books are sold. Online typically, and it's on my website, so you can get a link to everything there. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up. Special thanks to everybody that gave back. Again, you can still do that on replay, and you can do it until the video is done today. So thank you. If you click this, it really helps me continue to buy new supplies. So I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate all the new members that we got today as well. Again, on social media, I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh or Ashbaugh on Twitter. And if you have any doubts, you can follow the links that we put in chat. Please, if you haven't previously subscribed, hit subscribe. If you haven't liked this video yet, you can like this video, and it helps. When it's on replay, engagement really helps with discovery. So leave an emoji, leave some sort of comment, and it helps me out. And finally, you can also do the applaud button. And that also shows not only a comment, but it gives back to the channel a little bit. So thank you so much, everybody. Let's see, we are here Monday. I will be back on Thursday and Friday to work on, let's see, Aquarius and Pisces. And then on Sunday, I will do the collective. I have a surprise, not so surprise, but I'm working on a video for Apollo that will come the following week, talking about pets and spirituality with pets and how I kind of discovered him and manifested Apollo in my life. It's also his adoption anniversary because he was a rescue. So I'll be talking about that. And I might do I'll probably do a premiere and then maybe do like a little live associated with it as well. And I'll see if there's anything else because there's an extra week between months. So I may pop up for something else. Another reason to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. Great week ahead. Enjoy this. Again, this is good for 6 to 8 weeks. It can be used for sun, rising, and moon. And if you did enjoy this, share it with someone in your life that you think would enjoy it as well. All right, take care, everyone. Thanks again to Maria for helping out with moderation. And everyone, have a great day.